Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Venus Khan and I am here with a new topic, that is Bohr's and Haldane effect. Today we will discuss Bohr's effect and Haldane effect. So we will discuss the things in simple way. Simple things will be taken and that will be kept in front of you people to make your concept clear. Okay, so first of all, going into the discussion of Bohr's effect and Haldane effect, I am going to discuss the circulation of blood taking the gases. Okay, this is lung and these are the tissues. For example, the lungs take in oxygen and tissue produce carbon dioxide. The oxygen from the lungs is taken by the blood and that is transported to the different kind of tissues, where by the process of respiration carbon dioxide is produced and then carbon dioxide is picked up by the blood and brought back to the lungs. So how these things takes place, how the oxygen carbon dioxide are transported, that have been discussed in the previous lectures. Now we are going to talk about how the oxygen brought by the blood into the tissues is unloaded, and then how the carbon dioxide which is picked up from the tissues then brought up to the lungs and that is then unloaded. So how the unloading of carbon dioxide and the unloading of oxygen takes place for those for these phenomena, there are two kind of effects. One is Bohr's effect and the other one is Haldane effect. So over here in the tissues we will talk about, and this has been a little bit discussed in the previous topics, that the oxygen is given to the tissues and carbon dioxide is packed up. So what happens, what are the main changes because of which these processes taken place, that will be discussed over here in the Bohr's effect. Bohr's effect is what? This is called as Bohr's effect because it was described by Christian Bohr in 1904. Christian Bohr described it, and this effect takes place here in the tissues. In the tissues, oxygen is unloaded and loading of the carbon dioxide takes place. What happens here? Here in the tissues, there are different kind of changes which occurs that have been discussed in the previous lectures. You can consult those lectures for that. Over there, different kind of processes occur because of which protons are produced. The protons do what? Protons comes and they are taken up by the hemoglobin. Why? Because hemoglobin, I have discussed it, that hemoglobin perform a role as a buffer. So it takes the protons from the blood to avoid drastic changes in the pH, So what happens here? Here, this proton causes the hemoglobin to become acidic. This acidic environment, or the concentration of protons, or the concentration of high concentration of carbon dioxide or high carbon dioxide pressure, do what? It causes the hemoglobin to release oxygen. Usually what happens? Usually whenever the carbon dioxide is attached to the hemoglobin or whenever the proton is attached to the hemoglobin, it reduces the affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen. It reduces the affinity of hemoglobin for the oxygen. So as a result of addition of carbon dioxide or attachment of the protons to the hemoglobin, it causes the hemoglobin to unload oxygen. Usually I have given an example in the previous topic that, for example, this is hemoglobin and it contains 4 oxygen atoms. It contains 4 oxygen atoms. So whenever you want to enter another molecule, group of atom, etc., or an ion or an atom, what happens? It disturbs the conformation of the hemoglobin. It brings the conformational change in the hemoglobin, because of which what happens? One of the oxygen is removed. So usually what happens here, if you look at it over here, the high carbon dioxide pressure do what? The carbon dioxide is brought to be attached to the hemoglobin. Okay, so whenever the carbon dioxide produced in the tissue, this carbon dioxide is produced in the tissue, that is transported from the tissues into the blood. This is blood plasma and this is an RBC. For example, say for example, this is an RBC. So when the carbon dioxide is produced by the tissue and that is given to the blood and then RBC, it comes and is attached to the hemoglobin. This causes what? This causes a conformational change. A conformational change in the hemoglobin is caused, and that change do what? That change causes the hemoglobin to unload the oxygen, to release the oxygen. So what happens? The oxygen is released in this way, and that is given to the tissue. There are three ways through which the oxygen is unloaded here. One is the attachment of the carbon dioxide, which unloads the oxygen. Another thing is, whenever this carbon dioxide is attached to the hemoglobin, here it forms carbaminohemoglobin, a topic which had been discussed previously. So whenever a carbaminohemoglobin is going to be formed, here what happens? The histidine amino acid has an amino group, NH2 group. This NH2 group combines with the carbon dioxide. So this forms what? NHCOO. Carbon dioxide. This is that carbon dioxide which is attached to the NH, and one of the hydrogen is removed as proton. One of the atoms removes that proton. So when that proton is removed, what happens is the proton is brought and is attached to the hemoglobin. Whenever, like carbon dioxide, this hydrogen ion or proton is attached to the hemoglobin, again it causes conformational change in the hemoglobin, which causes the hemoglobin to unload or to release the oxygen, and that oxygen comes to the tissues. The third way, these are the two ways. The third way through which the oxygen is unloaded, that is, whenever the tissues produce carbon dioxide, this carbon dioxide comes into the RBC. Here in the RBC, it reacts with the water in the presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. I have told you that this is an enzyme which speeds this reaction 5,000 times. Okay, so what happens here? The water and carbon dioxide are combined in the presence of carbonic anhydrase to produce carbonic acid. This carbonic acid is an acid in aqueous form. It splits to produce an ion, HCO3 bicarb or bicarbonate ion, and a proton is produced. This bicarbonate ion is released, comes out of the RBC in exchange of the chloride. It comes out and a chloride ion comes into the RBC. That has been discussed in the previous topic, that here what happens, a chloride shift is caused, and because of that bicarb is released and chloride is taken in. Okay, now here the proton which is produced here, this proton also comes and is attached to the hemoglobin, causes acidity in the hemoglobin, and because of which conformational changes are caused, that helps the hemoglobin to release oxygen atom, and that is then given to the tissues. So these are the three ways: attachment of carbon dioxide through the production of proton in this way, and through the production of proton in this way. What happens? The hemoglobin is caused to release the oxygen atom. So the oxygen is released by the addition of proton or by the addition of carbon dioxide. Mean acidity or carbon dioxide high pressure causes what? The hemoglobin causes the hemoglobin to unload the oxygen, and this is what? This is Bohr's effect. And it is said that for each attachment of a proton, one oxygen molecule or two oxygen atoms are unloaded. For the attachment of each proton, one oxygen molecule or two oxygen atoms are unloaded, and this is called as Bohr's effect. Another effect is Haldane effect. This whole phenomena takes place in the tissues. When we come here to the lungs, in the lungs what happens? Oxygen is brought, that is inhaled, and the carbon dioxide which is taken by the blood must be unloaded to be released from the body. So here the unloading of oxygen takes place, and here unloading of carbon dioxide takes place. Now this unloading of carbon dioxide is explained, that is described by the Haldane effect. So Haldane effect takes place in lungs, and Bohr's effect takes place in tissues. Haldane effect is called Haldane effect because it was described by John Scott Haldane. Okay, he described that high oxygen pressure in lungs favors unloading of carbon dioxide. Whenever there is high concentration of oxygen, means in lungs, it favors the unloading of the carbon dioxide, and this is Haldane effect. What happens here? Over here, if you see, in this case we have discussed that the carbon dioxide concentration or pressure unloads oxygen, and here oxygen pressure unloads carbon dioxide. This means Haldane effect is reverse of the Bohr effect. It is the reverse of the Bohr effect. So what happens here in the lungs? Here in the lungs, the blood have brought carbon dioxide here to the lungs. These are, for example, lungs, the alveoli where there is a high concentration of oxygen, and this is the blood containing plasma, and this is the RBC, for example. So oxygen is taken in, that is given to the blood during exchange of gases through alveoli. So when the oxygen is given to the blood, what happens? This oxygen comes here and it produces a very high pressure. The pressure of oxygen is very increased here. When this increased pressure is brought here, the oxygen is attached to the hemoglobin. So when the hemoglobin is attached, oxygen is attached to the hemoglobin, this causes hemoglobin again to be changed conformationally. Okay, conformational changes takes place in the hemoglobin. So because of which what happens? Carbon dioxide is removed. Carbon dioxide is removed. Along with that, whenever the carbon dioxide is removed, along with that, hydrogen ion must also be removed from here. Because what happens when the carbon dioxide was attached here, this carbon dioxide released the proton. When this carbon dioxide is released, the proton must be added again, must be removed from this hemoglobin again. Okay, so this proton which is released here, this proton comes and reacts with the bicarb. The bicarb which is released from the RBC here in exchange to the chloride ion, that bicarb is taken again here. That bicarbonate comes again in exchange of chloride ion. Again, reversal phenomena of this chloride shift takes place here. Here the chloride comes in and bicarb is released. Here the bicarb must come in with the release of a chloride ion. So what happens here? This bicarb or bicarbonate which comes into the RBC, it reacts with the proton released by the hemoglobin. This proton will reacts with the bicarb or bicarbonate in the presence of carbonic anhydrase. It produces H2CO3. Okay, again carbonic acid is produced, and that carbonic acid then splats to produce water and carbon dioxide again. Means the reversal phenomena of this reaction takes place. That reaction is reversed here. So whenever this carbon dioxide is produced, that carbon dioxide comes into the lungs and is released from the lungs by the process of exhalation. So this carbon dioxide and this carbon dioxide released by the hemoglobin is brought into the lungs and is released. So this unloading of the carbon dioxide, main purpose of the discussion is unloading of the carbon dioxide from the hemoglobin by the addition of oxygen. So this high oxygen pressure causes the hemoglobin to be changed conformationally and to release the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is exhaled. Okay, so this unloading of carbon dioxide in the presence of high pressure of oxygen is called Haldane effect. High pressure of oxygen causes the hemoglobin to unload carbon dioxide. This is called Haldane effect. And high concentration of carbon dioxide or acidic environment causes the hemoglobin to release or to unload oxygen, and this is called Bohr's effect. So this is about the Bohr's effect and about the Haldane effect that have been discussed in simple way. So this is about the whole story about it. I think that must be enough for you people, for your concept. If you people have any kind of question, you can ask me. Till next video, thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.